Hello and welcome. Welcome to my home and welcome to my sacred space that I prepared for us here today to do our daily pick a card. I'm Olivia and this is Throwing Coffee with Olivia here to do your daily pick a card. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't say enough about that. So I do hope that you enjoy this channel, whether it be intermittently or every day. I just appreciate every single visit, every single comment, every single like, every single dislike. Yes, I like the dislikes too. In fact, when I got my first dislike, I was so excited because I had a like to dislike ratio. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the card toppers. So I have the Selenite, which is this beautiful, beautiful crystal. They do grow in these long rods. It makes me sad that this was cut like this. I don't know exactly where it came from. I think it was probably given to me or one of my daughters. I don't know. Then this one is Howlite. It is kind of unusual looking, or not something that I necessarily always, because look, this is Howlite also. So they have a little bit different look, a little bit different property probably. So anyway, let's go ahead and see. This one's my turquoise. It's actually not mine. It belongs to my fetish. And I'll go ahead and here, he can make an appearance. I'm not sure if he's a true fetish, so I don't know that he necessarily was just something carved to look like a fetish. A true fetish actually has a spirit. It's something you can go ahead and look up and read about. Anyway, they really like turquoise, and so this turquoise actually belongs to that fetish, but we're borrowing it right now. This one is Laborodite. I often call it Laborodite. I don't know. I think it's Laborodite. So it looks just like a gray heart, but as you turn it with the light, you can see all the beautiful colors and sparkles that are trapped within. All the beauty within. All right, so those are our 4 cards. I am intending to do a thought of the day from our Healing the Mind and Spirit cards. And if you've been coming, you know that sometimes I like these little sayings on these cards, and sometimes they make me mad. But don't worry, I'm not going to get mad and start screaming and yelling. I'm just going to talk about it. It's our thought of the day. I do feel like they're beautiful cards, and I feel like some of them have some very beautiful messages on them, and we'll see what we get today. Let's go ahead and cut the deck. I'm going to pull our card from the bottom. I am becoming wiser each day. Let's see what the back says. Wisdom is achieved slowly, and the active expression of knowledge in your everyday, and is the active expression of knowledge in your everyday life. Loving service is the highest wisdom. I've never heard that before. Loving service is the highest wisdom. However, I love it. I like it. I like it. And I like it when I like these cards. And you know what? I actually haven't seen this one before. And I've had this deck literally for years. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it as I've been looking through, but I never really had it as a thought of the day. So that I just love it. It's very nice. Let's go ahead and move on to our pick a card. Well, let's talk about wisdom here. One of the things I learned about wisdom very young, because my family was very, my dad was very intellectual, but he was also a very spiritual man. And he liked to read to us kids from the Bible, and my mother was also very religious, and we went to church, and we learned things. We learned things, and we heard Bible stories. And one of the Bible stories that really got me going, actually it wasn't the story, it was just the idea of King Solomon being the wisest king in the land. And also, I guess the story did have a little something to do with my fascination because King Solomon was considered the wisest king in the land. And I don't know if you remember the story, but it's the story about the two women that come to the king and they both say, look, her baby died, this is my baby. And the king said, it's really easy to figure out whose baby this is. Let's just no, he didn't say that. He said, let's just cut the baby in half and y'all can both have it. And then one mother ran forward and said, no, please, no. Don't cut the baby in half. She can have the baby. And then he gave the baby to the mother who said, no, don't kill the baby. So it's a dumb story. In my opinion, as a child, it was it's like, how is that showing his wisdom? But I also wanted to so that thought was like, well, if that's a wise person, I could be wise, and I wanted to be wise, not just smart, not just knowledgeable, but wise. And I understood that distinction in a certain way because my dad taught me that. And so I started praying for the wisdom of King Solomon. And henceforth, I had a very interesting life and still do. And I do feel like not only do I have a lot of practical knowledge and impractical knowledge, I do have a wisdom of sorts, and I have dedicated my life to service. And so that's why I really like this thought. All right, now we can move on. Okay. So under the selenite, if you haven't had a chance or if you feel like you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If you need more time to check out these card toppers, I'm going to have a sip of coffee and then we'll go ahead and move on. Sorry about that. I thought I had it on Do Not Disturb, but we're going to go ahead and move forward. And let's see what's under. Okay, so this looks really dire, but it's not. So it's the Ten of Rods, and actually the fact that it is upside down, I am going to turn it right side up so you can see it better. The fact that it is upside down actually does make it more of a healing card, more of a recovery card. I will say that when I see this card, oftentimes I feel as though it's nudging you towards contacting a higher power. And what I mean by that could be religious, contacting God and asking for help. It could also mean recovery. We're talking about recovery. So are we talking about recovery from an illness or from something that happened to us? Is it physical? Is it emotional? It could be any of those things. So you may be needing to contact a doctor, or you may be needing to contact a therapist, or you may be or a massage therapist, or something to help you along your path to recovery. It could be your sponsor. Recovery could be about addiction. At any rate, this card says you're recovering. You're coming out of it. It's getting better. And the reason it says that is because it's upside down. So that's actually a good card, and I'm becoming wiser each day really goes along with it, especially if our process where in which we were hurt or damaged or are stabbed with a sword, that is an experience that we do gain wisdom from. I really do believe that experience is one of the big and great and ways to gain wisdom. I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of strange ones, a lot of big ones, a lot of weird ones. And I've made it. I've made it through, and you can too. And that's your card today. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to what we have under the the Howlite. The King of Swords. So this is a very powerful card. This is the oldest king, the most experienced king, the wisest king. In fact, if we're going to go ahead and talk about King Solomon, This might be the guy. He's the one with the sword. Um, when I see this card, I feel like the person that this card represents, and this could be you or this could be someone in your life today, but it's someone with a lot of insight. If it's you, you might find yourself talking to someone and giving them insight about their problem or difficulties or so whatever their project. Or if this is someone in your life, you might want to go ahead and listen to them. You may feel like he's kind of a boss-like figure. Maybe he acts like the boss even though he's not the boss. And you sometimes, well, I think I'm going too far with this. These are general readings, and I do get flashes and feelings of things that I need to share, but then sometimes they're not for everybody. They're for some of you. So I'll go ahead and finish because I guess I did need to say that it's for some or even one of you. This is someone that you don't like. This is someone who bosses you around. But today I want you to listen to this person. I'm becoming wiser each day. I can't tell you how many times I have learned huge lessons from someone I didn't like, someone I didn't admire, someone that upset or angered me. A lot. I'll just say a lot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our turquoise. There is the Eight of Cups. So this Eight of Cups is going through a rite of passage of sorts, a growing pain. What do you want in your life? That's a question to ask yourself because you're moving forward. You are possibly leaving behind some of your old values, some of your old friendships. Definitely have a feeling of, sadness in your movement, as if you are leaving something behind. But again, like I said, this is a rite of passage, and so it's a good time for you to search for meaning. And if wisdom is something that you admire, I think we can go ahead and get the lesson from the back of the card that says, wisdom is achieved slowly and is the active expression of knowledge in your everyday life. Loving service is the highest wisdom. And I can tell you that in my life, searching for wisdom, I definitely took on a life of service. I'm sorry that came out so slowly. But basically every job I've taken, and even in my private life and the kinds of things I volunteered to do, volunteer jobs, different things that I've done, have all involved service, and service really truly is a way that I have learned about people, about the general public, about the sweaty masses, about all the people of the world, about very many different kinds of people. In service, you do learn about people, and in learning about people, you find wisdom. Now we're going to go ahead and look under the beautiful Laborodite. Laborodite? If somebody knows, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and look it up. I'm going to look up that pronunciation. The Fool, the Fool, the Fool. Okay. Now, we all know what we think of when we hear the Fool, like somebody who might be stupid or somebody who might be unknowledgeable or youthful, but stupid is not the right word. And I was also told that naive is just the French word for stupid, that it's not really a nuance. Anyway, let's drop that for a while. Let's talk about the Fool and what the Fool really is. The Fool is youthful. The Fool is just doesn't look where he's going, doesn't really consider the consequences of their actions necessarily, like this baby here doesn't really know or understand the consequences of touching fire until they actually touch the fire and feel the burn. So, with this card today, it really is a blissful card. I often think about dogs when I see this card, and this card doesn't have a dog in it, and usually most of the depictions of the Fool definitely have a dog in the picture. And, you know, I just think of a white lab with his tongue hanging out. He got out of the fence. It's trash day. He's running around the neighborhood and rolling in the muddy ditches, and he is just really having a great time, not worrying about consequences. And that's okay, except I do want you to be careful. So pay attention to what's going on around you. Be aware as you move forward, and do try to think of the consequences, because that can get you in a great deal of trouble. And with the I am becoming wiser each day, I can tell you firsthand that I have been a foolish person. In fact, the Fool was my signature card for many, many, many years. And I can say that I was cavalier, and that I thought I was just following my bliss and learning happiness, and that was true. But I was also not aware of some of the consequences of my actions, and how difficult sometimes they were, and how they were difficult for me as well as other people that were in my life. So do pay attention to what's going on around you. Do try to be aware, and do try to be aware of the consequences of your actions as they affect you and others. But have a good time. Go ahead and take that roll in the ditch. All right, we've come to the end, and I have to say goodbye. So I'll go ahead and do that. And while I'm doing it, you can go ahead and click on that happy face. It's me drinking a cup of coffee. In that middle circle there, you can hit the subscription button if it hasn't popped it yet. It will in just a moment. I hope that you found exactly what you needed here. Please do take what resonates with you, and you can leave the rest. But don't make life-altering decisions or changes based on any pick a card, not even this one. And do connect with me on my other social media platforms listed in the description. Otherwise, come back and see me. Do comment, do post, do hit that subscribe button, and know that I love you guys.